Sweet. So we're up now?
We are ready and live here on the Hugh Hatrick channel. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see you all. We have all the way from America, Andrew Vasquez.
Hello.
It's great to see you. So, Andrew, you're all the way from America. You're about 7 or 8 hours behind us time-wise. But
Correct.
Tell me, what have you been doing the last couple of years since we last had a chat?
What haven't I done? A lot of life-changing events, Hugh. I did I started the YouTube channel a couple of years ago. And I actually just took it full time a little bit earlier this year. I just thought it was time. I've been at my job for about 2-3 years, so I thought, why not give it a crack at it? Especially because I was seeing that the views were starting to go up a little bit. I'm not getting any younger, so I just thought to myself, and also with help from my girlfriend, that thought I'd take YouTube a full time. So that was one big life change. No life changes. I found a girlfriend too as well. A really great girl here in the States. That's also a YouTuber as well. So that's really, really cool. And still in Las Vegas. Not sure when I'm gonna leave here. I'm still trying to move out somewhere to Europe because that's been my dream to move out there. But those are kind of been some of my biggest life changes in the past. Well, since last time we talked. I mean, how's everything with you? How have you been?
Good. Yes, I changed my job, and
Oh,
from
you did?
being a
Okay.
kind of part-time carer, although it was still quite a lot of hours, but it was classed as part-time. I got myself a bus driver's license because there was big money in bus driving, so very much a change of career. But the hours were kind of crazy, so it was like doing 5 over 7. And unfortunately, a lot of my evenings were taken up with driving, so I couldn't do as many interviews and things like that. So I had to kind of put it on the back burner. But then I managed to get a job recently where I'm doing primary schools. I take the kids to school in the morning and then take them back in the afternoon. So I have plenty of time in between. So the hours are better, and it's allowed me to get back into sim racing and into the interviews. So yes, I feel like I'm kind of rejuvenated and having lots of fun trying to play Gran Turismo and other games as well. So it's been good fun. And I got myself a new Logitech wheel and pedals. I got the 923 just a couple of weeks ago. And that's been fun actually. I can no longer blame my equipment for being so slow. I just am, so it was just like,
the Logitechs, I mean, I know the old version, they were notorious for having some interesting issues with the pedals, because I know I would always have issues with like the brakes and the throttle pedal. I think that was like the main reason why I switched over to Fanatec, because I heard there wasn't too many issues with those, but I've heard here and there that there've been some issues with the pedals, but 90% of the time I haven't heard any issues with them, and I haven't had any issues with mine. I've had them for about, I want to say, a year and a half now. So yeah.
No, because you came to Europe. I remember seeing your thing when you came on holiday to Europe, and you came to Britain. Was it was it last year? Wasn't it that you came? And and you you met up with quite a lot of the big streamers, and you went to 1 or 2 big events. Did you go to the Grand Prix? I'm just trying to remember what you went to, but you went to some big events.
Not in England. That's hopefully a plan for next year, to go see Silverstone and see the British GP. But no, I went in 2021 because me and Steve, Super GT, we kind of been talking, and he was going to do his quadrant karting. So I asked him, like, hey, let me tag along. Let me go hang out with you, see if I can go watch a karting race at least. And he said, yeah, come over. So I went to England 2021 to go see him kart. And then last year, I went again to go meet with my friend Jamie. He's a videographer. He does videography for like Jimmy Broadbent, Steve, Misha, all the big name sim racing guys over there. So I thought, it's been a while since I've seen him. He used to tell me, hey, come out here. We'll go to Brands Hatch, go watch some Formula 3 racing out here. Because I guess he had a connection with some Formula 3 drivers. And then, we went out to Brands Hatch, went to go see some races. And then we went to go meet up with Jimmy Broadbent, which was pretty cool seeing meeting him
Yeah.
in person. Very, very nice guy.
Yeah.
And then from there, I kind of made it to my own little trip afterwards and went to Mallorca in Spain for a bit,
Aye.
just get away from Las Vegas and go chill at a beach for a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I know that sounds great. Jimmy always seems to have a smile on his face
Oh
whenever he does
yeah,
a video, isn't it? He's a very kind of upbeat kind of person, and it's great to see him and Super GT doing so much real racing now. In fact, they were in that
yeah,
team when they
yeah.
did their big race at the Nürburgring.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, it's great to see, and it would have been fun to catch up with them and actually meet up in person and see what they're really
Definitely.
like, see all their good points and all their bad habits. But no,
Yeah.
I'm sure they're fine. But
Mhm.
yeah, so that's been the thing. And in terms of sim racing, what have you been up to over the last wee while?
I've kind of actually taken a step back with sim racing, with at least content wise. I still do it on my spare time, my free time.
Yeah,
Um, I've kind of backed away from Gran Turismo. It just hasn't really appealed to me recently.
yeah,
Um, I've been playing more of iRacing, Assetto Corsa, and I just started dabbing into Forza, which is uh it's fun in its own way. It's like, again, I
yeah,
don't really take it as like, real life rate or sim racing or anything like that. Just kind of go on it just to mess around, mess about. But as far as Gran Turismo, just yeah, I've been really had found too much passion playing it. Just been finding a lot more fun playing with iRacing and Assetto Corsa.
yeah. Because
Yeah.
sometimes the lobbies in iRacing can be quite good, isn't it? And
Oh
as you
no, yeah, definitely.
build up your score, you can get some good
Exactly.
races. I just found it that I got into. I didn't play it that much, and I think if you're with iRacing, I think you've really got to go for it and build up your career with it. I think, isn't it? Because otherwise, you get put back, or without
E-
race experience of how iRacing really works as well, isn't the way it
e-
drives? It
Exactly.
can be tricky, isn't it? So you have to kind of keep at it.
Yeah, and everyone takes it very competitively. So you have to put in at least a good half hour to an hour of practice before you even consider doing a race. Because if you just jump straight
Uh,
into a race, then you're just setting yourself up
it's
for failure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I've learned from that quite a few times. Of you go in
Yeah.
and say, "Oh, that race is ready in a few minutes. I'll try that one," and then it's a
e-
disaster.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
and
sometimes you get lucky and people take each other out in turn one. So you gain like 10
yeah,
positions. And so you're able to kind of get a practice because you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm in fourth somehow. So all I got to do is
yeah,
just keep it on the track and hopefully I can finish, still top 10 or something. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
quite like the single seaters. Was it the Formula V? They were quite good fun.
Oh,
They were
yeah,
always
yeah.
quite a laugh, and you get some very very basic tracks that they
Mhm.
race on with just grass and a few trees, and that's about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you can still have quite big chaos. I remember the first time I did it on my PC,
Uh-huh.
and I was a Formula V race, and I ended up in the trees. I actually
Oh, wow.
I managed to cartwheel over somebody else and end up in the trees. So that was quite an impressive first race,
Hmm.
but eventually I did win one or two. But when I kind of got kind of used to it, but no, it's quite a
Hmm.
thing. But it's interesting what you're saying about Gran Turismo, though, because a lot of people have found the recent kind of updates and the way that GT7 has gone,
Yes.
it's kind of lost its verve a wee bit. I think it's not. It's quite a hard game to play. Where before it was quite fun, and I
Yeah.
think it's. What's your opinion on that? How do you find it?
I mean, luckily, I haven't come across any issues with the lobbies
Yeah,
on my end. But then again, I haven't really been playing it much recently in the past month or two. And I know that's when a lot of the issues came about because I scour on Twitter and, I follow a lot of Gran Turismo guys. So,
yeah.
a lot of them
You'll hear it
were
all.
talking about how bad the lobbies have been. So I don't know firsthand how bad they were, but I mean, for me, I just felt like I don't know. I kind of felt like it were just where it lost a little bit of its lust in its daily races.
Yeah,
Um, I think some of them were just very repetitive, and I think after playing GT Sport, um, some of it just kind of uh,
yeah,
transferred over to
yeah,
Gran Turismo 7, so it kind of felt like I was playing GT Sport again in a way. So I think once you do it for so long, it kind of just burns you out in a way. Um,
yeah,
and on top of that, I still uh, uh, what can I say? I feel like just doing one daily race over and over for the week. it gets a little tiring. So that's why.
Yeah, yeah, I think it does last a while, isn't it? I think they could
Yeah.
do with, because when they first launched the game, I remember when they did the big online update in GT Sport, they were actually doing new tracks every day. It was three new races every day for a while, and then they made it out on a week. But I think maybe every 3 or 4 days, maybe every half a week, they could put in some new races just so that it kind of gives you something fresh, to kind of
Exactly.
keep it going. That
Yeah. That's
and
actually what I was gonna say. I was gonna say 3 or 4 days would be perfect.
Yeah, I think that would work really
Yeah.
well because then it does keep it fresh, and if you miss a few days, it's not too bad. You're not missing out really so much, and you tend
Exactly.
to find that by the Saturday or Sunday, everyone's either expert at the races, so it's quite hard coming in at the end of the week and then trying, if you haven't done it before for that week, to kind of try and compete well. But no,
Exactly.
that's the thing. And you were saying you've played Forza, and that's the
Yeah.
latest game, isn't it? That's the big one that they're all talking about. How do you find
Yeah.
that?
I because I've only played maybe like 20 hours, 25 hours, but I mean it's fun. It's a good way to just escape from uh I'd say real racing. Sometimes you get some good races in there though. If you get
Yeah,
matched up with the right people. Uh I know there has been a little bit of issues with progression on some of
yeah,
the multiplayer lobbies. I'm not sure if they
yeah.
fixed it. I know there was a huge update that came out. I
It
think it
was
was
today,
end
actually,
of.
wasn't it? Or yesterday. Yeah,
I
it
know
was
there was
great.
one
Yeah,
today, but I know there was
yeah,
a 1.0 patch that happened last week, but I haven't played it,
yeah.
so I don't really know if they fixed some of those issues or helped at least the progression system where you can at least build up your car a little faster, so
Yeah,
you can compete with some of the guys that have been playing longer. But yeah, like I said, I've enjoyed it. It feels fun to and fresh to play a new game, and I really like the multiplayer. They get a little chaotic, which,
yeah,
like I said, it brings a new element, a new element of fun with it. So
yeah.
yeah,
You see it on the Super GT videos. You'll come around the first corner and everybody's wide. Everyone's away over there somewhere, and he kind of just
exactly.
picks up about 12 places coming round. But
Yeah,
but it seems like the graphics are sharper. It seems a bit more realistic and a bit more fun, a bit more like some of the other games. I think they have made a step forward in
hmm
people kind of playing it, because I think the last couple of Forzas they would make a few videos of them and then that's it. And now a lot of the big streamers like Rory Alexander,
hmm
and even the Key, he played it a few times as well and made streams out of it. So in fact, I think it really helped Rory. You've got normally you see him with about 400 or 500 people live watching, and then now he's
uh-huh.
got about 900 people watching. I mean, it's huge numbers when
Yeah,
it first came out. So it's definitely working. Have you? I like the new F1 game. I got F1 2023 on
uh-huh.
PS5, and I've found that actually a lot more fun. Just because you
Yeah,
can jump in and drive, and I've played a lot of the other ones, but I think it's quite a big advance in terms of the feel of it, because the engine, the noise is so much better when you play it with the headphones on. It really comes
hmm
into your ears, and it feels like you're actually in the race. It's quite immersive, which I
hmm
think is quite good, and they're quite nice to drive. It's quite fun, and then you have all the F1, you have the music, and you have the commentators and all the stuff. The way they do the build up is quite decent.
yeah,
I think
exactly.
they've made a big step forward in the playability of that. So I've done one little stream. I'm going to do a bit more. But are there any other games that you quite like that you've been playing? I noticed you did a stream of Minecraft. I noticed that a few days
Uh,
ago on your channel.
Yeah, it was a Roblox. So I've always there's it's like a small, I don't want to say small game. It's a kid game, Roblox.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
basically it's like a sandbox. People could just build whatever games that they want and then just put it
yeah.
on the server. And so I've actually found some like Formula One games on there. So I've been playing a lot
Oh
of
wow.
that. It's actually a lot of fun because it's just again just something that's away from real life sim racing. They could just pop in and just play for like 30 minutes and just like, oh, okay, that
Yeah,
was that was a
yeah.
good escape from like
Aye.
taking it being a try hard on the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's nice just
Yeah,
to have a bit of an. To actually, that's why you play a game in the first place, is really for the escapism, isn't it? Just to have a
exactly.
laugh for a few minutes and things like that. Oh, that's the
Mhm.
thing. That so, and you're saying you've got some plans for next year. Are you going to try and come back across to Europe and see what you can do across here?
Yeah, I don't want to speak too much about some of the things, but yeah, there's going to be some things where I go out to Europe. One of them is it's going to be in England, and then one of them is going to be in Germany. We're just planning everything out on my end, and that's kind of at the moment, that's what I have. I don't know I can't predict the next 6 months, but hopefully, some other stuff come up through the pipeline. But so far, those two seem to be the how can I say it? Like the most solidified plan right now that's going to happen. Yeah. So
and would you like to see your kind of motor racing and your kind of sim racing develop quite a bit then over the next few years, and to see how you can get on with maybe, are you going to try and do championships again, or do you have a specific idea of what you would like to do with sim racing?
With sim racing, right now I don't have any plans right now what I want to do with sim racing. I mean, definitely I don't know if I don't want to put in the time too much to try to do like championships and stuff, because it takes away so much. I feel like you either have to focus on the sim racing or focus on the YouTube part. So it's kind of up in the air right now. I'm kind of playing around with other things, trying to make some different content with sim racing. But I mean, like I said, it's all up in the air right now with sim racing.
Yeah. And that's obviously, it's a big step to take to get your YouTube channel and to go full time in that. Exactly. How has that been for you? Has it kind of started to work quite well? Obviously, I know you've got a good number of subscribers, and have you seen it kind of grow over the year quite a bit? Have you been quite encouraged by the way it's gone?
Yeah, I mean, the first month it was a little challenging, just adapting to just doing the full-time YouTube thing and not having to go to a 9-to-5 job. Like I said, luckily I saved myself enough money to build a little cushion, because I thought that was going to be the smartest way to do it. But yeah, the first month, second month were a little difficult. They were very challenging because the growth wasn't really growing as much as I thought it would. But it's been growing a lot in the past month or two. So that's been very encouraging. So I'm still just trying to figure it out. I gave myself like a target goal that I wanted to achieve by a certain time, and so it's getting closer and closer there. So it's starting to get a bit better. It's starting to get a little bit better. Yeah.
And what would you say is the key to that? Is it consistency? Is it always having to produce content every week at a certain time so that people know what you're doing and things, and they can follow you and watch it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely consistency, but also reinventing with other things, or reinventing yourself with other things, testing out new audiences. That's kind of the reason why I've kind of, I don't want to say straight away from sim racing, but I've been doing a little bit less of sim racing, just trying to find new audiences. And it seems to be working. And the consistency thing, I have to get a little bit better at that. I feel like I haven't been as consistent with my content as I should be. I know there's some other people that they are on it every single day, and so and I've definitely seen them grow. So I feel like that's one thing I have to really, really work on. So yeah, I definitely think consistency is a really big key on it, but also you also have to test out the waters and see if anything sticks, and then once it sticks, try to continue growing on that.
Because it's such a big marketplace out there, isn't it? And it's hard when everyone else, you get some of the big guys doing the same thing, and so they're all competing, and they take the majority of the audience, and they've earned it. They've done a good job to create that audience. But as you say, you've got to take something that's going to make people want to kind of put it on during their tea break or their lunch break and watch you as you race away, or do something that of interest. Which is exciting. That I have to say, when the new Grand Theft Auto 6 finally comes out, I can't wait for that. I just can't wait. Is that a game that you would quite like to play?
I've always liked the Grand Theft Auto games. I just haven't played them recently because the last one came out back in 2013.
10 years ago,
2013, 2014. So I'm waiting for it to. I'm just hoping it's a good game and it's polished. I don't see why it wouldn't be, but they've had 10 years to make it.
It's taken so long. I mean, I always look at updates every few months to see if anything's coming. And I think possibly next year, maybe March next year, as I've heard. But whether it's that time or whether it's September or later on. But there were some great bits. I always remember Grand Theft Auto 3. And because it was done by Scottish writers, and a lot of the Scottish gamers, but they were based in Edinburgh, they had some great little kind of Scottish content that you wouldn't get anyone else. Like there was one bit where if you bumped into somebody on a particular street, they would say a Scottish phrase, say, "Gotta know, do that," which was a kind of Scottish phrase of saying, "Don't go away," kind of thing. So it's quite. So it had these wonderful little bits that you wouldn't get in any other game, and yet it was worldwide right the way through. You know, and I love driving the cars. You can just drive them through the mountains and over the hills and all the rest of it, and have a great time in your car chases and all sorts of stuff. But I think the new one, from the video I've seen, it looks really sharp, and the cars look amazing, and also the I think just the adventures, all the kind of missions look really, really good. So I can't wait to do that, and I'll definitely get that and stream it and see if people like it, to see how it goes. And
they also make like cool little tracks. Well, at least on Grand Theft Auto 5, they were able to make like cool tracks.
Ones you could loop the loop and do all sorts of things, isn't it? That's
exactly.
End up in the middle of the environment somewhere. But yeah, no, it is quite good. So what's the thing? So you've been coming up to Christmas. Have you got any big specials on? What are you promoting for your YouTube content at the moment? What have you got any kind of big plans for Christmas?
At the moment, I don't have anything planned for Christmas quite yet. I do think we're gonna I'm trying to see if I can plan out maybe some cool like little game things that we can do with like some of the audiences, like maybe do like a Fall Guys stream or Fortnite stream, just something chill with the audience. But other than that, maybe I'll do an open lobby on Forza or Gran Turismo, but it's not planned yet, to be quite honest. I'm still trying to kind of plan for the rest of this month and stuff for next month.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, have you bought any of Super GT's new merchandise? Because he's been emailing everybody on his list of friends, and he's got all his new stuff. I think he's kind of desperate for everyone to get his jersey and his outfits and T-shirts and the whole thing.
I haven't yet. I bought a lot of the Quadrant stuff, but no, I haven't yet of his stuff. I got to look into it. I know he released it when I was in town, so I got to look into it. Yeah, but yeah, if it looks cool, I definitely wouldn't mind helping him out. You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And of course, it was the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Now that can't be too far away. I'm just trying, and I'm not entirely sure when it is. Is it? It can't be. Is it this year or is it next year? They're going to do it.
It's this year. It's in about 3 weeks.
Right.
4 weeks. Yeah.
No, that's going to be so. That I bet you have ringside tickets if you're not far away.
Unfortunately, at the moment, I don't have any tickets. The reason why is because it is just so expensive. So we went to the Japanese Grand Prix, and that was actually how can I say, like, so the trip was, still somewhat expensive, but it was cheaper just to go out to Japan and go watch a race out there than it was watch a race here. Because the cheapest tickets here right now I saw was $1,000, and that is just for general standing. And for 1 day tickets, I'm just talking about 1 day, Hugh. For grandstand, cheapest I saw was $1,400, or about what, 1,100 British pounds.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Goodness me. So we used to be able to get to Silverstone for £100. Just about 3 or 4 years ago, you could do it for £100, and that would be it. They always phone when they know they're not supposed to. But literally £100 would get you to the British Grand Prix. Up until about 5 years ago, because they did a thing to try and fill up the stands, because they always get a good turnout. But you get a great turnout when it's that kind of. I could have gotten there from where I live in Northumberland, all the way down on a bus and back for £160, including my ticket. So it was an amazing, incredible deal, and you got some exceptional races. Because those were the races when Hamilton and Bottas and Verstappen were all racing against each other, and having some very memorable battles and some good victories. But so if you just saw the Japanese race there, that would have been a good one, because Suzuka is a fantastic circuit.
Yeah, exactly. It was a really good time. I wasn't expecting the track to be so elevated. I knew it was going to be large, but there were so many elevation changes on the track that you don't get on the sim, or you just don't really experience it. So that was one thing that really threw me off. But it was just a surreal experience seeing that, because the Suzuka is probably one of my favorite tracks. I think it's like the perfect track to just do time trials on. Sometimes you get good racing on there. And then all the drama that happened the first 20, 30 laps was really, really cool. Seeing like all the stuff that happened with Sergio Perez, the Williams and the Alfa Romeo. So yeah, the first 20, 30 minutes was great. But then once things settled in, we kind of figured Max Verstappen was going to win. So we kind of just ventured around and looked at other parts of the track. But it was what a surreal way, because that was my first Grand Prix. I've never been to any Formula One races, so it was a really good way to crack the egg and see my first race. But I'm jealous. I'm jealous that you were able to go see the British Grand Prix for 160 quid. Like
the funny thing is, when I first went to the European Grand Prix, well back in 1993, over 30 years ago, that's the one where Senna won in the most incredible of conditions, when it was wet and dry. And it changed all the time. And it was only £45 at that time to buy a ticket, and they couldn't give them away. Because it was kind of like a last minute kind of setup. They'd only maybe had it for a few months that they were going to do it. And there was floods in the car park, so people couldn't get in and they couldn't get out. So it was it was because they just weren't used to the rainfall and the conditions. And of course, everybody turns up. And in fact, Alan Prost said that his back garden was bigger than the track. He said he wasn't happy about racing there. But it was the most, I think when you see a Grand Prix, it's the most amazing experience with all the helicopters flying around and the flags. And the atmosphere is electric, isn't it? And then when you see the cars go around, I always love the warm-up lap, because they're revving the crap out of the car. That's like bouncing off the rev limiter as they come in, and you see them take their place. And then, of course, it kind of goes quiet for a few seconds as they settle. And then the last cars on the grid, when the revs rise up, and then you see them go, isn't it? It kind of goes right through. I mean, I know the cars are a little bit quieter, but did you find it quite noisy? Was it still quite empowering? Was it quite a good energy from it?
I felt like they were still pretty noisy. I mean, I don't know. I've never heard. Well, actually, no. I have heard the V10 or the V8 engine in person, because they were doing a little show here on the Strip. They're not as loud as They had like a little pre-show, the Mercedes and Red Bull, so we went to go watch that. But yeah, these modern cars, they still make good noise, and you can still feel the power. Like, we were sitting on the exit of 130R heading into the chicane, so you can hear them. I can hear them before they even got to 130R, and you could feel the rumbling. So they still generate really good power, because they're basically full throttle through that corner. So they're already hitting 160, 170.
MPH. Well, I used to do 200 miles an hour on the back straight there. In earlier, but I think they've got 1,000 horsepower, so they're pretty much. I mean, they're slight. I think they look fantastic just now. I think the way the cars look are amazing. And they're quite big compared to the old ones. They're quite small. They are quite long and wide. It's like 2 meters wide, almost as long as wide as my bus. So it's kind of like with these big tires. But no, it's great to see, and also it's the kind of the force you get off it, because you can see the energy kind of rise off it as they come here and round, and when they brake, you can even see those little movements as when they brake, the car goes down, and it's an amazing thing to see. What is there a particular memory that you'll take from watching that race that kind of stands out for you?
I guess the fans. Probably. It kind of sucks, because we wanted to go sit on the hairpin, and that's where all the action was happening. So, but I think one thing that I definitely would take away is just seeing the cars in general in full power, and seeing how fast they are through some of the corners. Seeing the braking distance, because like I said, we were able to see the chicane, so we were able to see them go from 170, 180 down to 60 miles per hour, however fast they go through that chicane. So I think seeing that braking distance, that was very, very memorable. And it was just really, really great seeing Ferraris in person.
Absolutely. No, it's an amazing sport and an amazing thing to see. We used to go and see the testing at Jerez in Spain. just
Oh,
on the
really?
southwest, and you could get in for €10 at the time. This was
For
back in
testing?
2010, 2008, 9, and the first time we did it was 2008. And
Uh-huh.
I went round to the back. They allowed you to go right the way around the circuit. So we walked all the way to the back straight at Jerez. And the first car that came round was Lewis Hamilton in his
Oh,
McLaren
wow.
Mercedes. And we heard
Uh-huh.
this thing, and they came hearing round the corner and onto the straight, and it was brilliant. It was quite a thing. But at that time, we saw Schumacher. I think in 2011, I saw Schumacher testing
Mhm.
in the Mercedes and that. So we saw that famous red helmet, and we
Yeah.
got right next to the chicane there. That was a kind of right, left, right. And it was great because they'd come hearing round and then brake really hard, but they could still just, you saw them almost get the car to leap over the curbs. It was just like they kind of threw it into the bend,
Yeah.
and somehow it stuck. It was an amazing thing. The G forces from going right, left, right must have been insane, But
Incredible. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I mean, that's what they train for, is to go through those corners as fast as possible. Because I'm pretty sure if me or you or anybody went through those corners, our heads
yeah,
would
that
be
bit. Our
knocking
necks would
left and
be that
right.
big.
Yeah.
It's quite a thing, isn't it? So, would you
Yeah.
fancy a shot in one of these? Because I know that Super GT, he went to Dubai, didn't he? He went to the Abu Dhabi circuit. That's what it was, Abu Dhabi, and he
Mhm.
raced in a Formula 3 or something. It was just like a kind of arrive and drive type thing.
Exactly.
But would you fancy doing something like that if you got the opportunity to go in a proper race car?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I would not skip it. Like, I would go in a
Yeah.
heartbeat. Yeah, if the opportunity ever arises, I would definitely take it. I've been doing a lot of karting recently, traveling around. I went to California, do a lot of karting here in Vegas, and so um, that real life racing has kind of gotten an itch on me. So
Yeah.
if finances go right, I definitely want to see if I can maybe potentially buy just a little track car and just take it around.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, if there was any opportunity that came up where they say, hey, you want to test out this Formula 4 car, or even just a GT car or something, I don't know, something, um,
Yeah.
I would definitely go in a heartbeat. I'd be like, all right,
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm on the next flight. Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to say there are a few racetracks in Vegas, are there not? They're obviously out with the Grand Prix track that's going to be a street circuit. But what's the kind of racetrack that's in Vegas? Is there not one on the outskirts of Vegas somewhere? Or
Yeah, it's mainly used for NASCAR. It's a huge 1.5 mile oval, and
uh,
then near that they have like very small road courses, like parking lot road courses, um, as well as a drag strip and something called the Bull Ring, which is just a smaller oval, maybe like
all right.
a
Yeah.
quarter mile. And
Yeah.
then they also have the dirt uh, oval, which is basically another
Yeah.
quarter mile oval that's
Yeah.
on dirt. Yeah.
All right. Oh well. And
Hmm.
have you been to? Because Laguna Seca is not too far away from you. Have you?
No,
Have you ever? You've not been there yet to watch a race?
unfortunately not, but I definitely want to go next year now that I have more time. It was
Yeah.
mainly one thing that was holding me back a lot was my time with my job. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I know there's going to be some Laguna Seca races coming up. That's not IndyCar, because I know they had an IndyCar race here or there. I want to say a month ago.
All
Um,
right. Yep.
yeah, yeah. So definitely wouldn't mind going to Laguna Seca, because that's another track that I really really fancy. So I wouldn't mind going out there and going check it out. A race.
Aye.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. It's always a great track to play on the games, I have to say.
Oh
It's
yeah,
always
definitely.
good fun. And I've seen a few kind of like TV video, TV shows where they've been around there doing different races. And you just don't see the elevation change again,
Exactly. Yeah.
as you do like certainly on the game, for then seeing it in real life, and then they stand halfway up the hill, and then you see it in the
Yeah.
corkscrew and all of that. It's kind of mad, isn't it? But I'm sure they had some
Mhm.
Red Bull F1 cars around there as well. I'm sure they've taken that round there. I'm
Yeah.
sure I saw it a wee while ago. But no, that's fantastic. Well, look, it's been amazing getting a good catch up with you, and
Yeah.
finding out about what the plans are. And you're saying that your girlfriend's a YouTuber as well. What
Yeah.
kind of YouTubing does she do?
She does a lot of kids content, a lot of skits and
Uh,
challenges. Yeah.
uh,
So it's a whole different world from the stuff that I do. So
yeah,
that was one thing I had to I don't want to say adjust to, but just kind of how can I say it? Just get used to, I guess, seeing some of her content. But yeah, she's killing it right now on YouTube. So it's really I'm really proud of her, seeing her grow,
Yeah.
because they literally started their channel this year.
Wow.
So they kind of started a little earlier than when I started going full time. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really proud of her. She's doing really good. Yeah.
Oh, well. Well, that's
Mhm.
the thing. Well, hopefully in a few years' time, we'll get to meet up and we'll all be successful full-time YouTubers. That would be nice. And being able to
Exactly.
go
Yeah.
to meet at a racetrack. In fact, one of the guys in the chat, Andrew, has said, when you get your racing car and you get a chance to drive it, you should video it and put it on your channel. It would be very
Oh,
interesting to see if you
yeah,
can
definitely.
do your local races. That would be great. In fact, I'm trying to
Mhm.
think who was racing yesterday that I saw. No, it was in America, and I was watching. Actually, it wasn't Super GT. It was somebody else.
Mhm.
It'll come to me. But they were doing a Mazda MX-5 race, and
Oh,
they had
okay.
just done their first MX-5 race, and it was
Uh-huh.
it was on the coast somewhere. The name's completely gone from my head. But they started eighth, and then they kind of got up there,
Oh,
and
really?
started to overtake. Yeah, it'll pop into my head at a random time when it's not required. But it was definitely a new YouTuber. But I don't
Oh,
think it
okay.
was. I don't think it was Super GT. That has been the
Uh-huh.
first one I would have thought that it would have been him, but it wasn't. Oh no, it was Kirith. Kirith Cart. Do you follow Kirith?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was Kirith. That's who it
Uh-huh.
was, and he did quite well in the race in that. So it was
Oh,
quite
that's
good.
good.
But
Yeah.
aye. So no, so they're all trying to go full time. They're all trying to compete with each other in race. We need to get
Yeah.
them to do the whole thing. I'm hoping to eventually put together a kind of British sim racing expo, because they have one in Germany,
Uh-huh.
and they had it just earlier this month. But I think we could do a great job of putting one on in Britain, and get all the
Yeah.
big guys to come in and race, do a live session racing. All the top guys like yourself and others all coming in, and we'll get you doing different races in front of a live audience. I think that would be a big hit because we've got so much motorsport in the UK. I think we could get a lot of people to come along and enjoy something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that they don't do anything like that in the UK now. And it's all in Germany. I mean, I guess I understand, because you got the Nürburgring out there, and you got a lot of, big name
Yeah, yeah.
companies that are from Germany. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if they had a British expo, they'd kill it. Like,
Yeah,
it'd be
well, they do
great.
the Autosport show, which is kind of a big motorsport show in January.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I just think just a kind of sim racing expo
Sim racing.
would
Yeah,
be really good because I think getting all the big guys together and girls and bringing their communities in and maybe doing it like at Silverstone or somewhere like that, where there's you've got lots of space and you could put on something quite fun. And
yeah.
get the communities involved as well, because that's what they used to do with people like Jackie Stewart and the Formula One drivers. They used to get them
Mhm.
together, and they used to have a kind of show where they'd have to go and drive a milk cart, like a milk float, and race it between them, and there'd be two or three of them, and they'd have to then pick up the milk and go and do something, and it was always quite fun, and it
Like a
just like
little,
to see a different side of what they were capable of. But
yeah, like a little race of champions, basically, just sim
yeah,
racing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No,
No, and
that would be the thing.
yeah, and in my opinion, like right now, sim racing are just, I guess, content creators in general. They're they're starting to become the new superstars. So
Yeah, yeah.
for kids and audiences, so I feel like they could definitely build up a good audience if they ever make
I,
a experience like that. Yeah.
yeah. No, that would be the thing.
Mhm.
Well, it's been fantastic to speak to you, and I know you've got a very busy schedule ahead. So I know you'll be racing back to make content and to go and to do all these things. And of course, over where you are, it's in the morning time. Is it just about coming up about 10 o'clock, quarter to 10, something like that? Is it? But
Exactly. Yeah.
but no, that's fantastic. Well, look, stay on the line as we come to finish the show. But
Okay.
to everyone that's been watching, I've put your YouTube link in the description, so you
Thank you.
can click on it and they can subscribe to Andrew's channel. It's a great channel, and I know the chat's really just joined us in the last few minutes, but you missed a fantastic interview, and you can go right back to the beginning and see exactly what Andrew's been saying as we've asked about sim racing and about the kind of content that you produce and your European tour where he met Super GT and followed him doing his go-karting and his racing.
Yeah.
So it must have been good fun for you to get to see all these guys and to see what they're really like,
Oh
when
yeah.
all the things that we don't see.
Yeah, definitely. It was a really, really fun time out there. I
I
can't get
bet.
into the details, but yeah, we had a good time. They're really great guys.
Too many lawsuits, too many clauses in contracts. My goodness. We'll have to clear that for the next time. We'll have to clear that one. But thank you very much for coming on the show, Andrew. And hopefully we'll get to see you. You're very welcome. And hopefully we'll get to see you in Britain in the not too distant future. But stay on the line as we close the show. And I'll just say to everyone who's watching, thank you very much for watching. And remember, drive fast, but drive your bus even faster. Take care. Bye-bye.